so much for having me, everyone. And just because it's a small group makes no difference to me at all. So across Europe, we've been having groups of 20, 30, 5, 10, you know, at people's houses in places like this or restaurants. And the reason I'm doing it is, well, I needed to get away from Australia. That's my personal thing. I really needed a change. 3 years in Australia was pretty difficult during the lockdowns and things like that. But also, I personally wanted to meet as many freedom lovers as possible because it inspires me to see so many people trying different things and having all these different groups. And I want to know and be able to share with others how expansive and diverse the freedom movement actually is. Because you're living in your own town or your own city, you might think that there's not many of us, but there is. It's just you don't know who they are. It's very decentralized. So there's a group in a small town and you won't know anything about it. But if I can meet those people and write about it, then the whole world, hopefully, well, the freedom movement will know that there's a lot more of us than we think. So as I'm going to write a full article of each country I go to and include the links of the best projects or the best groups. So if any of you know any local projects or initiatives, please come up to me afterwards and and email me that. And when I publish an article about this visit, I'll be able to share that. So if anyone comes here, they can look that up and they can connect with the local communities as quickly as possible. The other thing is I have a big database all over Europe, but I'm in Australia. What good is that? So I thought if I can promote an event to my database and new people come, like for example, this lady here came because of my email, but she doesn't know this group. Now she's going to be on the mailing list and you can get emails from them because it's local and specific. I can't provide that to you.
Of course not.
So it makes this whole night worth it that you are here, for example. And if anyone else came from the email, that's exactly what the point of this trip is. I'm going to Norway next and I'm going to UK, blah, blah, blah. And some people might think, well, what are you getting out of it? It's pretty simple. I just really enjoy meeting people and it makes me feel good to connect to people. Selfishly, I go home and I think you are now connected. That makes my day worth it for me. And that's why I'm doing it. So if you can help me along my trip, if you know other groups I should go to, that's great. I don't keep in touch with you later. I just connect you and then go off, right? And like I said, I'm just traveling anyway. So I only have a few short, that's what I'm doing, that's why I'm here. But I only have a few short messages that I want to impart with you. It only take three or 4 minutes. I don't know if you guys saw the event recently, the We Are Ready event. There was 202 events all around the world on the same day. It was pretty exciting to see that happening. But what I want to talk about is the messaging of We Are Ready. Now, you might think, well, ready for what? Or what does that actually mean? You're ready for whatever. Now, you might not actually be ready right now, but if you say this to yourself every day, over and over again, then maybe instead of when you see a news article that talks about the 15-minute cities or passports, like, you know, for borders and things like that, instead of being scared, maybe you can think, oh, well, it's okay because I'm ready for it. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, they're going to try whatever they're going to try anyway, right? So instead of being afraid of it, let's try to trick ourselves into being ready for it and actually almost being like, well, bring it on. If you keep talking about the bloody digital ID and the 15-minute, why don't you just do it already? Because the quicker they do it, the quicker we can unite and push back against it, and we will. I really believe that the movement is a lot stronger than any of us know. So that leads me into my last point, which is community groups. Now, this is a small group, right? But it's very powerful because you would all have different skills. For example, if the world was to collapse right now, just for example, but you had each other, there would probably be someone who could do first aid, someone who could do planting, someone who could do building, for example. So the point I'm trying to make is that creating community groups and maintaining them, I believe, is the most important thing you can do right now. It might seem like a waste of time, but if things get hard again, those connections will pay off tenfold because you'll have the support to say no. We didn't have that support when COVID hit. We had no idea what was going to happen, right? But now we've had 3 years to get networked. And, you know, COVID was really hard for many of us, obviously. You know, I went to prison for 22 days. But at the end of the day, I'm stronger because of COVID, right? And I'm sure you all are. All the stuff we had to go through with families and friends and work and things like that, we're actually stronger people, and we've found our purpose, or we found a snippet of that purpose. And that's something to be really grateful for. So maybe you're not ready to thank COVID yet, but if you could trick your mind into almost being grateful for the new connections that we have because of COVID, I actually think we're all better people, and that's really exciting to hear. But my message really is that we are more organised than you think. We're more networked than you think, and that there's no reason to be afraid, because there's only two choices here, right? We either stop doing anything and we end up totally controlled by our spending and by our movement and by 15-minute cities, or we keep doing what we're doing and we keep trying, and even if we don't get there, this is the only option, because we're not going there, are we? So really, there's no reason to be sad. We're just one foot in front of the other. This is what we are. We've decided to be awake. We've decided to look into things. It's who we are now. We just got to embrace it and just be grateful for whatever happens along the way. And that's it. That's my message.
Great, thank you.
Oh, and I have these little bracelets for you guys. So you can have one, and business cards if you want to follow my trip along, because when I write the article about here, hopefully it will go international, America and things like that, so people will find out about what you're doing and the initiatives that Marcus has and things like that, and people will know that you have a freedom movement here, and it's really good. So that's it. So I'll give you these after. Are you going to say something?
No, that's fine.